Hello and welcome. I'm Master Lama Risaji, and this is our Tuesday edition of Risaji Speaks. So happy to be with you today. I hope you had a great Monday. We're really getting excited about where we're going and what we're doing. Let's look at the title today. The title today is Fierce and Fearless. Overcoming fear and embracing the power of the divine feminine. It's all about feminine and the mother energy for the month of May, right? It's really interesting. So I'm wearing these mala garlands, right? These are sandalwood, which is the Simple Father's, Babaji's scent. So back a year or two ago, Kuan Yin told me to wear the lava rock. Gorthnith, Melchizedek, told me to wear the tiger eye. And just this past weekend, Mother Mary said, put on the moonstone rose, the rose moonstone, and for receiving the mother's energy. And boy, howdy, when I put these three together, the energy going up my left arm was like all the chart. And I did Tai Chi Gong, and the vortex in the left palm was spinning like crazy. But you do what you're guided to do. And we have all the mala bracelets and the mala garlands. If you go to the circleofchi.com, click on store, you can just pick you out what you need. Overcoming fear. Well, understand the birth of the siddhanas comes from nature, and it comes from connecting with the divine mother, the divine feminine power, right? Boy, Bhoganarthar knew that, Hanuman knew that, Krishna knew that. They all knew that. John the Beloved learned that, and they knew that. And now I want you to know that. Remember, you got to go to mom to go to papa. You got to go to mom. You got in trouble. You were runny nosed kid or maybe a teenager. I don't know what your dad's going to think, is what she would say. And she would give you reason. She would also show you the approach ability to Abba, to Brahm, the supreme deity. Indra, a lot of times referred to as Indra in Sanskrit. It's amazing. And understand this, all of us have a certain amount of fear. The Simple Father told me one day when I was massaging him in the Ganges, he said, bring me one fearless individual and I will turn them in an a Yahshua or Master Rabbi Jesus, the Christ. And I said, Simple Father, we're going to bring it to you by the hundreds. And we're going to turn the whole world into the Christ consciousness. It's not out of courage that courage is born, brothers and sisters. It's out of fear. This past week alone, my 14-year-old, goodness gracious, he was sweating in his armpits. He was sweating in his hands and feet. I said, Jen, you're going to sweat like that. You better put a t-shirt under that shirt. People are going to know you're sweating. Don't show people you're sweating. I said, when you do this, I said, take that speech you don't want to do, and I want you to read it out loud 5 times today, 5 times tomorrow. And by the third day, when you go to read that speech, read as far as you can until you get stuck. Look at the paper. Read again as far as you can till you get stuck. Read as far as you can. After the third day, stick the paper in the drawer. Sleep with the paper under your pillow and do it. We're on the way that morning going. And I said, I know what you're thinking. He said, what? I said, you're doing stinking thinking. I said, I've been trying to get our group to evolve out of into mastering 102 of the mind. 101, Long term is the mildest, but how do you master 102? You got to start replacing that mind talk in the day, that ping pong consciousness that goes on inside of you. Like something happens and you react this way. Maybe it's something. My dad used to say, "You're never going to be worth anything." Can you imagine a father telling him? He has no idea what I'm worth. And if you go to work, you're going to have a tie and you're going to have patent leather shoes and you need a coat on. And I laughed one day. I said, "Dad, I'm not going to wear patent leather shoes. They hurt my feet." I mean, I've been a dancer and a martial artist. I either went barefoot or, wore dancing shoes, or I was barefooted doing martial arts. I said, "I'm not doing it." I said, "I'm going to make my living wearing tennis shoes, no jacket, no tie." I said, "I've been a monkey too long, but I'm not wearing a monkey suit." Right? That's what I told my dad. He thought, "Oh my God, Mary," she would say, "this is your kid." Mom told me when I came back for surgery, "You're not the same kid that left." Isn't it amazing intuition of a woman? She did not know how right she was, right? It was amazing, but it's out of fear. See, it was out of fear that David faced Goliath, out of fear. It was out of fear that Mother Mary told Archangel Michael, "Let it be unto me as you have said. I am now the handmaiden of the Lord." It's out of fear, right? Out of fear, Kuan Yin would appear to soldiers on the battlefield in China, right? Out of fear, she would come to them and said everything was going to be all right. And then she would clothe them in a bubble of light and energy, and they would be just fine. But it was out of fear, it wasn't out of courage. They were praying to her for mercy and grace. It was out of fear that they were hoping for a different outcome. What are you vibrating when you have a negative reaction to a situation that is going to make you process fear, anger, frustration, or the true meaning of sin, to fall short? On the way to school to Chin, I said, "You're doing stinking thinking." He says, "What's that?" I said, "Your mind's telling you you're not good enough. Your mind's telling you, don't think about how good the speech is going to be. I want you to think about how you felt, not the first time you got up to test from a white belt to a yellow belt, but remember that day 3 years ago when you were a red belt and you were getting your first recommended black belt? Remember, you jumped up in the air. You'd never broken a real board. You had broken plastic boards, but now Master Moore, eighth degree black belt, in front of 100 people. Ain't gonna be that many people in your classroom, Chin. It's gonna be less than 30. You broke that board. And how many times did you stand up when he asked you to recite something? Maybe the creed, and you did it, or the Pledge of Allegiance. Let me tell you what you're going to do this morning. You're going to learn a huge lesson. He says, "What's that lesson, Dad?" The mind's not the boss of you, not the mind you change this way, and not the mind you change this way. Your mind is your servant. You let it be your master. Ooh, it's going to beat you silly, child. If you're 14 years old and you learn that now, I know a lot of 50-year-olds that still let that happen to them. I said, "What did I tell you how to speak when you were in front of that mirror?" "You told me to speak loud, clearly, with confidence." Son, when you go back to karate and start training, you're not going to be a white belt. You're going to be a second-degree black belt that's training for his third-degree black belt. You're so fortunate. I said, did you know you're 1 year older than your dad was when I walked into that dojo or that clue, Japanese, Chinese, and Korean words for school. I was a white belt looking for a yellow belt, right? Here you are looking for a third-degree black belt. You fall back on your confidence when you're stuck in the wall between you and going forth with something new. I said, do you know why we have fear? He said, no. I said, most people don't. I said, it's because of what you're getting ready to do. You don't have enough experience. You don't have the knowledge, or it's just plain the unknown. Those things set up a situation where you can be very fearful. So what you do, you come back to what you know. You come back to your accomplishments. And there, that comes from the energy of the mother. I said, do you know where confidence of accomplishment comes from? And she goes, what? I said, look at this that's behind Lamaji. What is more profound accomplishment than what the Divine Mother did to this earth to get ready for us? Millions of years she prepared the way for us out of confidence to nourish us. It took us millenniums after we got here to get to the point where Chin is and say, it's time to move forward. I said, Chin, you'll never walk into a martial arts school ever again. I said, now remember, you're going to make a mistake today, but you're not going to dwell on the mistake. I said, your dad was on stage 2,000 to 3,000 times. And every time I was in a show that ran 8 shows a week, some words I would stumble on, but about 5 or 10 performances, I realized that the audience most of the time don't even know what you're talking about anyhow. They don't know your lines. So if you don't project and pause and do that with body language, then ad lib, right? Right? Speak loudly, clearly, with confidence that you see in the middle. The confidence that your martial art master taught you. Don't worry about what you forget, but just don't project that you made a mistake. Look them straight in the eye and just smile. Move in your mind to the next thing you remember, just like what I trained you to do. Think that I just pulled the paper out of the drawer and gave it to you because it is hidden inside of you. Initially, he thought he didn't know he would make even a D. We've come to find out that he made a B plus on that. I said, that B plus is good. I said, for you, it should be a badge of merit. I said, but you know what's more important with that? I said, you got a badge of courage today because you identify that the mind is not the boss of you. That's a lesson that'll last your whole life, son. And it's powerful that as a teenager, you're learning that. Your dad learned that too, about the same age. And look what your dad's done. And look what you will do. And I am proud of you. I says, what do you want tonight? He says, Dad, I want gravy. Well, we all know in this household that that's Sicilian talk for make sauce and make spaghetti. I told him, I said, who fixes the best spaghetti? And you said, you do, Daddy. Nobody fixes better. I said, I know. And you know why? I said, because I cook it for 5 or 6 hours. And it's a labor of love. And anytime you do something out of a labor of love and it's mission driven, and you got the eye of the tiger, and you got the sight and the focus and the goal, and you look down at people and you go with the level of confidence. I said, that comes out of fear. And that is the faith that Babaji is saying. I can make that person a Yeshua, a Jesus Christ. I can do that. Barakabashai. May the blessings be to you and to your glorious family. Come learn lessons with us for learning today. And go check out Master David's live class tonight, 7 o'clock Mountain Time. Go to circleofchi.com. He's got room for you in his class. Tell him Lama G sent you. He'll be happy that you came. God bless you all. And I'll see you tomorrow, as Chin says, on Hump Day. God bless.